doubt if you're going to be able to tell, but those are little mini daffodils. And I really was fearful that they were not going to come up this year. And I'll tell you why, because my husband was so struggling, I should say. He was struggling with weeds, those big prickery weeds that will come up, that he sprayed it with Roundup. And I really thought that, they were, of course, gone. You know, they were back to their, just as a bulb under the ground, because this was during the summer. But I thought maybe it would kill them, and it didn't. So that's good news, isn't it? And I am on my way to our church to help the ladies put up the spring and Easter decorations in the sanctuary right now. So that's what I'm going to be doing, and I believe that after that, me and my one friend then will also go and get a little bite to eat for lunch. So I'll talk to you after a bit. I hope that you have a very nice day, because here, wow, did it rain. Everything is just, there's water everywhere. Anyways, see you after a bit. Hey again, everyone. Well, got to the church and we got all that taken care of, and then we ended up running around because we wanted to find a few things that would make the decorating of the church look even nicer. And so we went to AC Moore and Hobby Lobby and got a couple things, ended up having some lunch, and then our local grocery store. Now, this is not the grocery store that I normally go to. It is a really small grocery store. It reminds me of the grocery stores that I used to go in with my mother when I was a little girl, before there was really what they would call, like your super center type grocery store. This is just very small, very basic. In fact, their deli does not even sell links of pepperoni. So, yeah, it's really little. But they had the most wonderful sale going on canned goods. And if you remember quite a few videos back, I had gone to Aldi's hoping that I could stock different things in my pantry. And I couldn't find anything really. But, yeah, I was able to get some really good stuff. So I thought I'd show you. And you'll get to see my completely unorganized pantry. But this is my pantry. That's the upper part. And then this is the lower part. And yeah, these are the bags that I got. And then these here. So I'll show you what I was able, oh, my camera's falling around here. Hold on. Okay. What I was able to get is a whole lot of sliced potatoes and some mushrooms, some sliced beets, pineapple, pear, peaches. I got some tuna fish, some garlic, some olives. I got a whole lot of sliced carrots. And yeah, this is my pantry. Nothing fancy, but, oops, sorry, I'm so jiggly. But I just have some chicken broth. Of course, there's got to be a lot of coffee, right? Got to have coffee. And just my extra things that I like to keep extra on hand just in case I need it. But yeah, it's certainly not the biggest pantry in the world, but it suits us because going into springtime now, I will not use a lot of this until probably the fall. So I can start stocking up when there is sales. And that way, going into the fall, I will have a really full pantry. Anyways, I hope this was interesting, and I will talk to you after a bit. I really do think that I got a really good buy on all those canned goods. Each one of those were either $1 or less a piece. So I thought I did really well. But today we are going to continue in Philippians chapter 4, verses 8 and 9, and I am reading from the New King James Version. Finally, brethren, whatever things are true, whatever things are noble, whatever things are just, whatever things are pure, whatever things are lovely, whatever things are of a good report, if there is any virtue, if there is anything praiseworthy, meditate on these things. The things which you learned and received and heard and saw in me, these do, and the God of peace will be with you. They say that the conscious human mind is always thinking about something. Yeah, I believe that. And if a person thinks something often enough, they end up not being able to stop thinking about it. You probably have also heard the saying, sow a thought, reap an action. Sow an action, reap a habit. Sow a habit, reap a character. Sow character, reap a destiny. A destiny? It all started with a thought. And our thought life is vital to finding peace. And the Apostle Paul knew that. He exhorts us to guide and to guard our thoughts. He wanted all believers to know and to enjoy the peace of God and the God of peace. And in order to achieve inner peace in our life and in church, our inner tranquility, in order to be enjoyed, certain steps will need to be taken. Now, let's look at what should make up the content of our thoughts. As Paul states, we are to think on these things, and there are 8 conditions, or guideposts, as I like to refer to them, that are set for biblical thinking, and they're listed there in verse 8. He says, whatever things are true, just, lovely, virtuous, noble, pure, a good report, or another way of saying that is befitting, praiseworthy. Boy, that's a tall order, isn't it? But honestly, what I have found that has helped me the most when I start going down a path of wrong thinking is I ask myself, do my thoughts line up with these 8 conditions or these 8 guideposts that have been set before me here in verse 8? And if my answer is no, then I have to make a decision to purposely stop thinking on whatever it is and to deliberately set my mind on something else that does line up with at least one of those guideposts. But you know, this isn't always easy because our flesh, it fights us. But if we are willing to discipline our mind and purpose in our heart to follow through with running the race that the Lord has set before us, He will strengthen us. And we will, by the grace of God, find our thoughts lining up with these guideposts. I encourage you, memorize those guideposts. And if whatever it is you're thinking about doesn't line up with them, you need to deliberately stop thinking about it. As Paul exhorted us, we are to guide and guard our thoughts. So with that, I want to remind you, life happens. Let's enjoy it. And I encourage you to memorize those 8 guideposts. They are there in the Bible for a reason, so that we can experience the peace of God and truly have the God of peace in our hearts. Good night, and God bless.